Again, everybody, this is Sebastian Keynes with another Watch Your Wounds video. In this one, we'll do a Gear Dungeon 2 Stage 3 guide, just to give you an idea as to how you can at least beat it and get yourself set up for Stage 4. Now, I already did a video covering most of the mechanics of the each one of the stages of this, so I welcome you to go and look at that. But I'm not going to be covering too extensively here. But I will tell you what to keep an eye on. So one of the things that we'll have to deal here in Stage 3 is with this Tormented Banshee. We'll have to contend with the fact that when she dies, she turns into a specter and does continuous damage to us. So I am going to make sure that I protect the fighter that I'm placing right in front of her to make sure that he does not die. And so he'll be paired up with the healer. Also, in the difference between the Stage 2 and the Stage 3 is that we're going to have to contend with the fact that she also is moving at a faster pace. So we have to keep that in mind and set things up a little bit early. As always, the Twisted Sycophants will split, so we have to get rid of them as soon as possible. And they have magic damage resistance, so we have to use physical damage dealers if at all possible. Other things to keep in mind is that in this stage is where we have to start protecting the second core. So there's a core here that shows up and that is not present in Stage 2. And of course, with this means that we have to then deal with the summon, the flesh summon, and she cannot receive physical damage or otherwise she'll heal. So you'll see in the clip that I'm going to show you as to how I beat the stage that you'll see her healing, and that is because she's gaining physical damage. And so we definitely do not want that. And the reason for this too is the fact that I had Marksman paired up here with Valkyra. So in the turns where Kai would focus on her, then you started seeing some green numbers. But at least we were able to overcome it with the damage that Valkyra was doing to us. And of course, if we don't get rid of that summon, we'll just get roasted right away. In the left-hand side, we're going to use a fighter to make sure that we can deal with the archers and give them a little bit of healing as a protection, just to make sure that he can contend with all of that. And then hopefully none of the Sycophants get there. So let me go ahead and show you the roster here that I used. Okay, so I was trying some things out with a knockback hero here that I have in the Forerunners Server. It's called Magda. Now, for this example, I'm not going to be using her. So I'm going to focus on the 8 heroes that were used for this. So number 1, you want long-range fighters if at all possible. So this is what I'm using, Valkyra. And Valkyra, we know she does magic damage. It was the Soulborn Arcana set. As you can see, she has 16,000 attack, 339 speed, 318.5 critical damage. She does have a little bit of rage regeneration to help her come back around as soon as possible. And I decided to use an essay on her because as I activate Ultimate, she did a little bit more damage, which is what I needed to make sure that that summon went down as quickly as possible. Also, please note during the run, you'll see that the spirit summon is getting, or the flesh summon, excuse me, is getting healed. And I found out later that the reason that I was seeing healing when Valkyra was doing damage to her wasn't because of Valkyra's damage or the damage of the tank Regulus. It was the summon from the Wailing Skull. So in this example, I used Wailing Skull. It still helped in terms of doing the damage that I needed to do. But it is a deterrent when it comes to dealing with that, with the summon. Because this shadow creature here does physical damage. What I would suggest that you do is to steer away from Wailing Skull. Use something like Realm Tear on her, maybe the Blade Disciple if you have it, or now Frigid Flame, sorry. I gotta start calling these guys by their new names. Or you can try the Amulet of Arteries. But just make sure that this little Shadow Guard is not doing damage to her. So yes, I used for this example the Wailing Skull, but I'm telling you, you probably don't want to, because as I realized during the run, after I examined the run, that summon was getting healed because of this shadow creature, shadow guard from the Wailing Skull. The other hero that we brought to this battle here was Magnus. Magnus is in an ageless set. I did not have as many IR sets in this account, so this is what he got. And the reason that I like is because of how much attack I could put on him. 26,000 attack, 289 speed, 336.5 critical damage. And of course, a little bit of rage regeneration does not hurt. And I gave him Eye of the Sin just to get a little bit more out of his AoE damage in this regard. As you'll see, I'm going to deal with the Sycophants at top by dealing AoE damage with a marksman. There are other strategies you can place. Hatsu right nearby at the spawn point, and she can deal with them. So if you have her, use her. She's phenomenal for this. Other long-range heroes that other AoE marksman heroes that I don't have here in this account are Rasak and Nyx that you can possibly use, especially because we have 4 to deal with. And if they multiply, you want to make sure that you get them down. Don't let them go move towards the core. They'll be really hard to contend, and you don't have the units to stop them. So Kai here is an Infernal Roar set. I did try to get him a little bit of speed and some critical damage and almost 15,000 attack with 450 speed, at least in this account here. In terms of artifact, Sharpshooter Crest, if we can do more AoE damage, and the enemies are definitely further away. So if we can just get rid of them as soon as possible, this actually works best for him. Hollow. Hollow I have her in my Guild Boss set. She has the Golden Scarab here as the artifact. But I really didn't change her from my Guild Boss setup, so she has a lot of speed. It's 592 speed here. A little bit of attack, because for Guild Boss, I don't want her healing the heroes too fast, right? I want her to boost their rage, so the idea here applies as well. But she has an invigoration set, so she'll give us a little bit of a boost in that regard. Also with Elowen, I'm using Elowen. I have to, I mean, if I have her. But you can use other healers on the bottom if you want. You have options. Medan, Vortex, they'll do phenomenal because they're HP-based healers. Let me see what other healers I have in this account here. I would say Aileen actually is very good for this. Esrin could probably save you, especially with the long distance heal that he has. If you want, you can bring in Lily if you want. She has that extra protection, so she'll revive you once or protect you from a fatal damage once. So she definitely can be useful. Of course, Vortex. So yeah, so those, you have some options, but I'm using Elowen, especially if I can use her to boost the rage of our heroes. And again, she's in an invigoration set. You can see that she has some decent speed on her, 362, so at least I can manage that. 106 rage regeneration, and that is because I do have a rage regen ring on her. So that's that setup there. My tanks here, I'm going to use Regulus. Regulus for this is looking good so far. So I have him in a Guardian set, and you can see that he has a healthy amount of HP and defense. When it comes to Trusk, so for Trusk, I actually had him on a Bastion Ring. Regulus is also on a Bastion Ring, by the way, in case you're curious. But here I have him in the Bastion Ring, and he's also in the Guardian set. He has more HP than defense. Of course, if you wanted to pack a little bit more defense, you can, because he can deal damage, and he is very good at it. But I just wanted to make sure that he is able to survive. When it comes to Abomination, I also put him in an Inferno set, because I needed him to be able to contend with the left-hand side of the map. So you can see here, 21,000 attacks, some decent speed, 386, 291 critical damage. And I give him a Lunary Visor just to make sure that he has some ability to heal whenever possible, especially with dealing with those archers that are coming from the left-hand side. So that's his build right there. Here is the clip that I collected, not using Magda. So I had previously done it with Magda, but then I decided to take her out because she's not been introduced to the global server. At least it kind of gives you an idea of what you can do if you have heroes similar to the ones that I do. If you don't have somebody like Magnus, maybe you can use Wrath. You just have to make sure that he brings down those units. So make sure that his build is one where is ready to do a lot of damage. So that's kind of the example that I can give you. If you have somebody else, use them, especially if they're AoE hitters. So for this first part here, so let me load it up. So for this part here, you're gonna see the Tormented Banshee be the first one that comes out. So we're gonna contend with that. Okay, so a couple of things for stage 3 is what you're going to notice here is that we're gonna have some corrupted tiles already. So luckily for stage 3, we only have 4 that are taken out. So later on in the other stages, as we increase in difficulty, we're gonna lose some more tiles. At least in this example, we just lose the 2 front ones here, which is not a big deal. And then we lose this T here. So we can really load marksman up here. It's essentially what this is coming down to. All right, so I'm going to set up here Magnus with LON so he can get some heals. Now, he is going to kill the Banshee fairly easily. So you can see the damage that he's doing against her. And the thing is, like it's like the mechanic says, when she dies, she turns into a specter. So we have to make sure that we're able to sustain this continuous damage that she's doing to the 2 tiles proximal to her. So as soon as she's gone, now we're set. Okay. So now we just can wait for the Psychophants to come and rush at us. The next thing that I decided to do is set up the top here. So I'm going to set up that to contend with this summon, the flesh summon. And remember, physical damage heals her. So we're bringing a magic damage dealer for this. So I'm using Valkyria in this regard. And I'm also using Hollow as the healer here so she can boost rage when she's healing. Okay. So we'll get rid of her. In the left-hand side here, you saw the archers come out, so I placed Abomination because I wanted to make sure that they didn't get to the core. And you can see Abomination is also healing as well as he's doing damage, and he's doing a good job handling them. Let me pause this here for a minute because also Hollow has the reach on the heal on him. You saw that we brought this down here as well when it comes to the spirit. Now, one of the things is if you're having a little bit, it's taking you longer. So you can see here Kai is dealing AoE damage to these Psychophants, and he had a good, fairly easy time bringing him down. So I unleashed this ultimate just to get rid of them, not even give them a chance to split and regenerate their health. You see this little summon here that stepped right in, that little demon that stepped right in front of the summon there. One of the things that I had to make sure of, and I'll give you this as a warning, and I don't know if this applies to all the marksmen that are in the game, but one of the things that I did is I had to make sure that I activated the ultimate before that little demon showed up. Because what happens is that if that demon gets into Kai's range, for some reason his targeting changes. He ignores the Psychophants and he starts targeting the demon here or the spirit or the summon. So if I would have waited, now it's too late because Kai would have used this ultimate on these 2 instead of the Psychophants. It's really weird. I don't know if that applied for Kai only, but just keep that in mind in case it happens with your Nyx or your Rasak. All right, so here we go again. We got to contend with all of this. Now, I activated Magnus's ultimate here right as the Psychophants approached me, and with his AoE damage, we were able to wipe him out. So that's this stuff here. This part here is going to be fairly easy to contend with as long as we get the ultimate activated at the time that we need it. Abomination is doing a great job handling the left side. So right now it's all about keeping an eye on ultimates. You saw Kai's ultimate was ready. The Sycophants came out. I used it. I wiped them out. And I did it right before this demon came out. And he actually laid the traps right in front here. So that's even more useful to try to eliminate the demon and the spirit. Or the summon. Okay, so we're almost done here. We're at 19 of 35. So again, the Sycophants are coming out. They have split already. So we're at 4. Timer is going up because they will split to 8. But I'm going to activate Magnus's ultimate as they approach. And remember, he gains block as well when you activate the ultimate. And then he does his AOD damage. Valkyra down here is taking care of this summon. And now I have here Abomination just handling the archers. Okay, so you saw that Kai's ultimate was ready, but I did not use it until the summon was out of the way. Sycophants are not out. We're down to 8. We're 27 of 35. And at least I was able to get away with just using 7 heroes. You can see that I still have 1 deployment. I'm glad I saved it because you'll see what happens. So here, another Tormented Banshee comes out. So we're going to have to deal with this continuous damage one more time. At the same time that we're dealing with this, you can see the Sycophants start to move. So we're waiting for her to disappear. And now that she's out of the way, I'm going to activate the ultimate to deal with the Sycophants. And at the top here, we're dealing with the summon. And Abomination is dealing with the archers up here. So we're doing fairly well. Now, here's the thing with these Sycophants here. Because there are going to be 2 left. So we got the spirit out of the way. So we're basically done here on top. But the thing here is that, as you can see here, Magnus did not regain the rage that I need him to regain to contend with these last 4. So right away, I knew I might have been in a little bit of trouble. And he wasn't going to do it with his basic. So I'm glad I saved 1 tank for last. There we go. I put him right behind Magnus to make sure nothing slipped by. And they retreated and then I was able to finish it. So that is how I beat stage 3. You can hopefully copycat this strategy with the heroes that you have. I know you'll have Abomination. Wrath could probably do it. It's something that I can try out, but that's kind of a substitute for an AoE damage dealer that you can use instead of Magnus. And Valkyra did a great job on stage 3 when it came to the top. Hopefully she can continue that. But if you have Silhouette or Arrogance, use those. They're doing very, very well in this dungeon. Long range marksman, like I've said, I have brought up Nyx and Rosak. They're good damage dealers in that regard, so they can probably use them. Lunaria, I only brought her here to give the lore bonus to Kai. That's essentially what it is. Tanks are going to be tanks. They're going to be able to hold up as long as you gear them correctly. For this example here, Trusk and Regulus work very well for me. So I imagine that you're probably going to have some tanks in your roster that can do just as well. Baron, Oleg, what's another common thing? Oh, Edith. If you have Edith, don't wash her. Don't put her aside. She's actually doing very well in this dungeon. This is what she was made for, essentially, especially with her knockback, which will be critical in the later stages. So, all right, folks, I will leave you there. I hope that you find this guide helpful, especially if you're ready to tackle stage 3. Hopefully, I can do 4 and I'll bring that to you because 4, 5, and 6 are probably going to be about the same. It's just that the difficulty is going to increase in terms of how much HP, defense, and attack what everybody has. Thank you all very much for tuning in and watching. Remember, please hit like and subscribe on your way out, and I will see you all in the next Watch Our Realms video.
Their souls are mine to take.